Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
Nope, my name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That makes me the co-host with the most from the coast with the most. Here on the Rundown, 2A views and conservative news. And Craig, how was your weekend?
Actually, had a really good time. Went out to spend some time at with the kids. With my adult children. Went to a little haunted house on Friday, and then went and spent the weekend hanging out, doing a little bit of camping for a night or two, and then chilled yesterday once again with the children, doing some hanging out, pizza, and the grandkids.
Pizza with the grandkids.
With the grandkids, not grandkid pizza. No, we did not eat the kid.
Okay, that's some weird California thing there. That's like grandkids on pizza. That's great news. That's good to hear. It's good. It sounds like a good time. The whole camping thing, I'm out. I'll take the zero on that one, Coach. I ain't doing that one anymore. But all good. Glad you had a good weekend.
And how was your weekend?
Oh, not too bad. Listen, did a bunch of work. Like around the housework. Man work. Fixing stuff and stuff like that. And then went back to work this morning. I've been being oppressed by the man. But other than that, I'm doing good.
No Oktoberfest festivities over the weekend?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's like X is a given. I was there at two of them. Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to bet you do Oktoberfest clear into December.
I do Oktoberfest until the kegs run dry of the Feist beer. It's a okay. And then, I mean, listen, there's a place I go. I don't want to give away their name because they ain't paying me, but it's a local establishment, a rather popular establishment, and they run Oktoberfest specials, and they run them till the keg runs out. And when the keg runs out, I'll see you back in September. I know when it's back. I'm not here for the company, folks. I'm here for the Oktoberfest. So.
Look, you got the beer. You might as well drink it.
Yeah. And so, listen, I'm one of the few that drink it. I love it after Oktoberfest, right? So it's like a double-edged sword. As if I go back more often, the keg will be empty sooner. But
right.
So I want to keep going, but I don't want the keg to be empty. But I want to go so I can drink it. But then the keg's empty, so I got to stop going.
There you go. So you just tell nobody else to go.
That's pretty much it. It's one of those stop in for 2 p.m. after lunch specials.
There you go.
Which brings up another question: when's it too early to start drinking on the workday?
I think it depends on what day of the week it is.
Let's say it's Monday.
Okay, well, if it's Monday, depends on what part of the country you're in, because there is Monday Night Football. So therefore, it is whether or not you're watching the game, it is appropriate to have a cold one during Monday Night Football. So if it's the appropriate location, could be as early as 3-4 o'clock. Well, no, I take that back, because there's always a beer with lunch.
Okay. What about with your coffee?
Beer with your coffee or alcohol with your coffee?
Alcohol with your coffee.
On a Monday, yeah. If you're drinking alcohol with your coffee on a Monday, you've got a problem.
It's in a coffee cup.
Is it a holiday?
Well, sure, it's Monday.
Is it a 3-day weekend? I mean, are you at your place of employment with your coffee and said alcoholic beverage?
I mean, where else would you be drinking your coffee?
Okay, well, there you go. So, yeah, no, that would be deemed inappropriate.
I'm celebrating being on the right side of the dirt once again. Just what if it's in the coffee cup and there's really no coffee in the coffee cup? Is that completely out?
That is completely now you definitely have a problem. Yes. You may want to see somebody about that.
Yeah, somebody that works at a distillery, perhaps.
Somebody that works at a distillery. All right, before this conversation descends any further south, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors.
Hey, let's say hey to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you have an AR in the past 5 years, you probably have one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you can buy direct from them, get yourself a new AR barrel for your next build, or replace the AR in your current rifle. That's hitmanindustries.net. Say hello to our good friends at the California Republican Assembly. They're fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. You listen. You got to get out there. You got to help. Go there, see what they're doing as far as candidates they're recommending for you in California as well. If you want some awesome combat gear, some awesome tactical gear, some web gear, utility gear to wear to the field, you want to go over and see our friends at uscombatgear.com. And I spoke with actually all three of them this weekend, and they can't wait to hear the story out of Everett, Washington. So, Craig, I'll give it back to you, and let's do the show. Let's get this done.
The story out of Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. No. Okay. Moving right along.
The wonders of live TV.
Yes, you gotta love this stuff. Fewer guns, more crime. That is the result of a new study that was done specifically looking at the effects of the 1998, what do they call it? The Gun Control Act. It was basically a law that was put in place there in the state of Massachusetts. It's an article written by our good friend, Mr. Cam Edwards, over at Bearing Arms. But what he noted in this study that they did, once again looking at the 1998 Gun Control Act, was that there was a doubling of gun-related homicides since the passage of that particular law, which once again just goes to show you that when you disarm people, the only people that you really disarm are the law-abiding citizens.
That's true. We know that. Everywhere we look at gun crimes, and every gun laws. The only thing that they accomplish, Craig, is to disarm the honest, to disarm the law-abiding. Those that don't care about committing a felony or a capital murder, or capital crime or a life crime with a firearm, don't care about your little misdemeanor or third-degree felony or Class C felony for violating your gun control laws. It's the only ones that it stops are those that respect the law.
Well, now, mind you, at the same time, now it's not simply because it didn't just go up because of gun control. Because what they also did at the same time was they passed a bunch of laws decriminalizing crime, taking things that were crimes, making them not crimes, and then taking people who are criminals and setting them free. And even though they say that in many cases those were not violent criminals or they hadn't committed violent acts, these were violent criminals. And then they've gone and they've basically engaged in violence. The point being, once again, is that when you try to lock up law-abiding citizens and you set criminals free, you ought not be surprised when the criminals try to kill people.
Yeah, it's really not that hard of a concept to understand.
And I don't understand why.
Unless you're on the left, then it's pretty hard evidently.
And I don't understand why that is. I don't get why it is. But it is what it is. But mind you, Mike, now this is a party that, by the way, lives and traffics in a bunch of things that you and I both know just is not so. And one of those things has to do with, well, our current president, and his belief in the fact that there are, for example, 54 states. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, okay, this is Fox News. They're just pushing this out there again. Biden really did not say that there are 54 states. Watch.
That's why we were defeated in 2018 when they tried to do it. We went to 54 states.
54?
So, Mike, and I get it. A lot of these, it would be one thing if there was one small gaffe, right? Like, this happened this month or that happened last month. That happens all the time. I mean, the number of times that George Bush Jr. said something that was off was, it happened once every couple of months. But we're talking, it's almost every day Joe Biden is saying something that would lead us to believe that he is just not there mentally.
Okay. W used to make up his own words.
Yes.
That's really all he did. Okay, he's from Texas, or he lived in Texas for a long majority of his life. And if you ever known somebody from Texas, they make up words. They're Texas words. But this guy just gets facts wrong. He just the dates wrong. The number. Listen, it's been the same number of states since 1959. That was probably what Biden's third or fourth term in the Senate, so he should know that. It's been a little while now that we've had 50 states, and this guy still can't get it right. He's clearly not clicking on all cylinders there.
I think you're 100% correct. He can't even get facts about his own life straight. Like when stuff happened, it's like his entire life is like merging together, and then he just fills in the blanks with whatever comes to mind. And
all signs of mental deficiency or senility, that he's getting he's progressing along in his disease there. It's rough for him. It's rougher for us. But again, I think we talked about it last week. The fact that the left ignores it and is okay with it is more alarming.
Well, and his cognitive decline came about pretty quick. First of all, we all knew that it was happening during the campaign. No one wanted to admit it. They put him up on stage a couple of times. They gave him what did the president say? Gave him a shot in the ass and sent him on out there on stage, where he had a couple of, I'm not even going to say good moments, because they weren't good moments. They were moments where he seemed at least slightly coherent, where the moderator of the debate was able to carry him. He didn't have to be on the full weight of his own senility. But for the most part, they hit him.
Well, remember, he was how long was he out of the public eye as well? So he was gone for 4 years. And we knew, that President Obama used to stifle his public comments because he was getting crazier and crazier. Mm-hmm. But now, then for 4 years under President Trump, we saw nothing of him, right? Nope. So we've had limited contact for 8 years and no contact for 4 years. So he just pops up, but he's clearly at the age where, at that mental deficiency level where it is running his life.
Well, yeah, and the worst part is that I honestly believe, now that I look back on it, there was a reason why he chose Kamala Harris, because if he had chosen anybody who had any sort of intellectual capacity whatsoever, they would have replaced him by now.
Yeah, I don't think he made that choice. I think others made that choice for him.
Yeah, they're like, okay, who would people be the most scared of should they replace Joe Biden? Should they need to replace Joe Biden? And
you're talking about the mayor of Chicago. Oh no, wait, no,
we're not talking about that.
Pretty scary. She's pretty scary. Yeah,
she is very scary. She is very scary. Anyway, moving right along. The next in line. So, I every time I do a debate, I've done a debate lately where people start bringing up January 6th, and they start bringing up quote unquote election deniers. The first thing that I do is I always question. I'm like, election deniers. Oh, you mean like Stacey Abrams? Oh, you mean like Maxine Waters? Oh, you mean like John Lewis? And they all start looking. Every time I do that, the Democrats start looking at me with a confused look, and I'm like, because they all denied that that Donald Trump won the 2016 elections. Well, but to them, that does not count as being election deniers. In fact, the head of the Democratic, who's this dude? The head of the Democratic Democratic Congressional Committee, went on TV this weekend, basically blaming Republicans for being the sole election deniers and saying, well, it's only Republicans who are the ones who are denying elections. Check it out.
Good morning.
I want to start where we just left off with our other guests. How concerned are you about the risk of political violence? And can you say unequivocally that you and your fellow Democrats will accept the outcome of your elections?
Of course we'll accept the outcome of the elections. Always have, always will. And we're very concerned about the integrity of our elections, especially when people are trying to intimidate people with weapons, when they're engaged in these tactics to try to undermine confidence. No, we're going to accept the results of the election. That's
Okay. So in the same breath, Mike, that he says we're going to accept the results of the election, he at the same time also says that he's concerned about the integrity of the election. So here's a guy who, before the election even starts, is denying the election. At the same time, he is saying that yes, Democrats are going to accept it because, Mike, they have always accepted the outcome of elections.
Which is just lies, as you pointed out. How many other people we got to watch that that stand up and say that the election was fake. The election, how many of the Democrats we have to look? Stacey Abrams, right, is the perfect example. We watch her every day. She pretends she's still the president of Georgia down there. Trying to make amends for the election that Governor Kemp won from her. Well, from the people. Let me say that. Craig, I don't even like the question ahead of time. When you ask me a week, what are we, 10 days, 11, or 8 days now, right? 8 days away from the election. Will you accept the results of the election? Hey, how about this? How about we get through the election and then we see if there's any videos of anybody pulling suitcases out from under tables, okay? Let's get through that part first. Then I'll tell you whether or not I'm going to accept the election. Let's get through, maybe they closed it down. Maybe they found, truckloads of ballots. I have no idea. Let's get through the election first. Then we could talk about accepting the validity of election. Ahead of time, Craig, that's like me saying to you, Craig, there's a new movie coming out next week. Will you tell me right now that you like that movie before you go see it?
Oh, no, most definitely not.
Right. It's so that I don't get the whole asking ahead of time, will you accept the results of the election?
Well, the thing is and there's kind of a two-pronged thing to this. Number one, to simply say that the election was fraudulent because your guy didn't win, I think is a problem. I do believe that there is a problem with that. Now, having said that, I also believe that to ignore things that occur during elections that clearly create a problem, that clearly are reasonable and rational people are like, hey, what the heck is that? To say that if you even dare bring up the question, you are an election denier and therefore your YouTube channel needs to be shut down or stuff like that, I think is also wrong. And I think in both cases, they harm our electoral process because when YouTube, and I'll say YouTube, when YouTube is able to shut down or suspend a channel, and I'll say this, for reporting on an article that was in Newsweek about a court decision, and that gets your channel shut down, that is a problem. We can no longer trust. We're at a point now where we cannot trust the technology companies and the media companies to present the truth because their goal is to impact elections. And we're seeing that now. We're seeing that in YouTube. We're seeing that in Twitter. The very fact that people are so angry and upset about Elon Musk buying Twitter because he's going to allow people to actually exercise free speech. Oh no, we've got to shut down that speech. Otherwise, it will have a grave impact on the election.
Yeah, absolutely right, and that's exactly what we saw last week. Right? It's now that there'll be the opportunity for both sides to make their statements that's going to be interfering with the elections. What? No, right. It's going to be the reverse of that. It's going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be fair and public speaking from both sides. That's what you're afraid of.
Well, that's exactly what they're afraid of because they can't you can't handle the truth. They can't. Right. The left cannot handle the truth. That's why they have to make up their own truths, right? Exactly. Right. They got to make that stuff up because the facts just really aren't on their side.
No, definitely.
And, to play into that, you actually have groups like this next one. I call them jackass. I do not use the term rhino anymore. I call them jackasses in elephant suits. But there is a story that is out about Republicans who are leading an effort. In this particular effort, they are trying to criticize they're trying to criticize Republican candidates as quote unquote election deniers. And this group, it's called the Republican Accountability Project. Now, do you remember Mike, the Lincoln Project?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember what's happened to the Lincoln Project?
Do we have the cricket noise? Can we play the cricket noises? That's what's happened to them.
Do not have the cricket noises. They're basically under investigation for stealing money, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole bunch of really bad politic stuff that is involved with them. Well, the Republican Accountability Project is made up of basically a bunch of Trump haters, right? They do not like Donald Trump. And if you want to have an idea of exactly who some of these folks are, you notice that even though their goal was to kind of deal with Trump, that they tend to go after conservative Republicans. Now, who are these people? Well, let's take a look at who they are. Going back here, you recognize this guy?
Billy Crystal. Yeah, he was the comedian from New York. He loves the Yankees.
Yeah, no, different Billy Crystal.
Oh, different Billy Crystal. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes, this Bill Crystal, long time, kind of more of a, how do I want to look at it? He is a what do they call him? Neocon, free world or New World Order type conservatives.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot of stuff that he's written about that I agree with him on. But the problem is that he is part of the swamp. And he's unfortunately he's part of the swamp that was on our side, and he doesn't like it that people just have issues with him and with their desire to basically have politics as usual, and in this particular case, just run by the right. He's been run out of. I don't think he's with the National Review anymore. You never see him on Fox News anymore. He's been relegated to hating on conservatives.
Yeah. These are they're swamp rats. Is what they are. They are. There was another story that came out Friday that was about this, not about this. That talked about Paul Ryan, Congressman Paul Ryan, and his efforts doing the same thing, and about them distancing themselves from former President Trump, and again a very small minority here, and I like to call this group, Craig, the RAP group, the Republican Assistance Group here. It's a Republican Assistance Project. What's the name of it? RAP, the RAP group. Yeah. The RAP group here likes to, okay, well, we're not going to say we don't like Donald Trump. We're just going to say we don't like people that like Donald Trump.
Well, which is, by the way, it makes it even worse because guess what? Those are the people who handed over control of the U.S. Senate to the Democratic Party. So
exactly
when we
right.
look at the massive spending that's taking place, that's on them. When we look at all the bad things that have been done by this Congress, all of this, when we look at the January, these committees that have been taking place, all of this stuff all happened because of Republicans who decided, in particular in Georgia, to campaign against Republicans.
Yep. Yeah. Republican Accountability Project, the RAP group. RAP
Yeah,
group.
RAP group.
So they're trying to be like sneaky. Like Paul Ryan came out the other day and said, "Oh, it's the Trump and the Trump policies." The RAP group here comes out and says, "Well, we're going to go at it's the policies or the people that support Donald Trump. We're not going to say we directly like Donald Trump. We don't like Donald Trump because you see what happens when you come out publicly and say you don't like Donald Trump and you're a Republican." What 10 of 12 lost their jobs here in the last election cycle, and just in the primary cycle alone. Those that either resigned or did not win their own primaries. This is people that suffer from TDS so bad, Craig.
Yep.
That they're going to dedicate and put their money forth to finding another backdoor way to say we don't like Trump.
Yep.
This is the guy that could save their party. All right. And he did. All right. Because nobody had it last time. Do you think anybody else could have beat Hillary Clinton? No one could have. And we know,
Well, that's where I'll disagree with you because I think almost any of those candidates could have beat Hillary. Hillary Clinton was the most unpopular political candidate ever.
Oh, yeah. For us, not for them. For them, she was their savior.
I'm talking about the polls. Every poll out there. The only she was the most despised and disliked presidential candidate in modern history.
Are these the same polls that said she was winning by 20%?
Oh, no, yeah, no, they said she was winning, but in terms of popularity and likability, she was one of the most disliked.
That doesn't mean she, and again, by our side,
right?
Not by their side.
No, I'm talking just in general. In general, she was one of the most disliked, the most disliked presidential candidate.
I don't know if you give me
even people who were voting for her didn't like her. Is my point.
I don't know if you're giving me a trick or treat here on Halloween or not, but I'm from Missouri today. You're gonna have to show me that one.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we'll pull it out a bit later. But I know you wanted to report on this story, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you talk about the story out of the state of Washington.
Oh, you mean the employment rights job?
The employment discrimination lawsuit. I know it's not on the thing here, but we got time, so I wanted to give you an opportunity because I know you wanted to throw this one in.
Listen, this is out of Everett, Washington. Listen, and it's and I know we have a lot of fan base up there in the Pacific Northwest. It's about 30 miles north of Seattle, up in that area, the Bellingham, Ferndale area up there. You start to get up into it, and it's they have their coffee place. Come on, it's all the Pacific Northwest. Everybody's got the coffee place, right? So they have these baristas. You know what a barista is, Craig? It's just somebody that serves coffee. That I don't know why we just don't say coffee servers, but all right. You have these baristas that they had these like bikini coffee shops, I guess, when you'd have a drive-through and a woman would be wearing a bikini top or something like that, and the city of Everett passed an ordinance, and the way the ordinance was written clearly was against women, that wearing the bikini tops. The ordinance was something along the lines of, you have to wear clothing that covers all of the top part of the body and all of the bottom part of the body. You cannot be exposing this much, amount of skin, and it was clearly written against women. So it went to court, and this is 5 years old, this case. So, and think about, Craig, when I saw this story, think about how much the Pacific Northwest has changed in the past 5 years. Look at what's happened in Portland. Look what's happened in Seattle. Right now, you probably, to ask a woman, even if you got her pronouns right or not, if she'd wear a bikini, they'd probably tell you to go F off, but who knows? But the thing I like about this is that the federal court, and it's a Seattle-based federal court, said you can't discriminate against one sex over the other when you do these type of things, which got me to think about, Craig, how many other things have we seen out of Seattle recently? How many other things have we seen out of the Pacific Northwest where they're okay with discriminating against one people versus another? Like, I don't know, gun owners. We're going to tax the gun owner. We're not going to call it a tax. We're going to call it a fee, and we're going to continue to do that. Yet, as soon as you change the word gun to bikini, the federal court is willing to stand up and give you your rights back. So it was very, juxtaposed against each other. The two facts or the two items really caught my attention.
I think you just started to talk about girls in bikinis.
What's that? What'd you say?
I think you just wanted to talk about girls in bikinis.
Yeah, but I barely did. I didn't even ask you to go back and bring the pictures up, Greg. Bring the pictures up.
It was already up. If you missed it, you missed it.
That was only the first picture.
Okay. All right. Not that one.
No, really interesting. I mean, listen, if you change the word bikini and gun in this story, and you're talking about the same rights being violated, First Amendment and Second Amendment rights, I think their heads would explode out there if you showed them how it's okay to discriminate against one but not the other.
Sorry, man. Look, on Yahoo, that was the only image. For the story you sent, that was the only image. Is that one right there?
No, you got to go Google Everett bikini, and then you'll get plenty of them.
Barista at Grab and Go Bikini. That just sounds bad. Grab and Go Bikini Hut.
Well, yeah. And listen,
okay.
It's not like
Mike,
they do this in the winter up there.
Mike,
They do this in like the 3 months.
You've gotten enough latitude. Grab and Go Bikini Hut.
Remember, again, it's not like they wear these bikinis year round up there. It's only like 3 months a year they could do this. So let them have their fun.
All right, fun stuff. Let's move on to our parting. Let's move on to our parting shots. All right, this first one is straight out of San Francisco. You know that open carry in the state of California is not legal, at least not open carry of a firearm. But as we now know from Paul Pelosi, there is a level of open carry that is allowed. Now, mind you, it has not proven to be very effective. I would not encourage you to emulate this mode of self-defense. Just saying.
I believe that mode is known as hammer time.
Hammer time. Boom, doo, 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 doo. Can't touch this. All right. Moving right along. This next one also is along the Second Amendment genre. Now, this is a clarification because we all know that there are those of you out there who are constantly confusing ARs and AKs and don't really know or understand exactly what they mean. And then there are those that are out there who think you know, but you don't know. This is in honor of you. You want to go ahead and read this one for them?
Yes, listen, it's talking to uninformed liberals. It says, just so there's clear, and we got a picture of an AR there, and we got a picture of an AK. And it says that AR, just so you know, means that guns were manufactured in Arkansas. That's the two-letter code for Arkansas with the post office. And AKs, now that you know the code, they were manufactured in Alaska. That's the two-letter code for Alaska in the post office. So, remember, ARs, Arkansas, AKs, Alaska. That's simple. Learn the difference.
Right.
And I don't know if he created this, but I found it on his page. I want to thank Yehuda Reamer for that one. The pew pew.
There you go. So if y'all have any questions or concerns about firearm terminology, just know that came from the Pew Pew Jew. It came from the Pew Pew Jew, not us.
Yep.
All right, and this last one, this last one is just so me. I'm just telling you right now. This one I resemble this remark. Dear Facebook, stop suggesting people I may know. I know them. I do know them. I don't like them. We've all got some of those in our suggested friends section, people you may know. Yeah, no, I know them. I don't necessarily want to be associated with them on social media. Just saying.
You know what I'd love to see one day, and maybe we'll see it at Twitter. I hope to one day see it on Facebook. As I wish there was a way to click on it to see who has you blocked. Like who has blocked me? Just because I want to do this, I want to go, oh yeah, that one I get. Yeah, I understand that one. Them? What did I do to them? I don't even know what I did. Do I even know that guy? I want to go through that list in my brain. What did I do to that guy? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's not like, now mind you, because Mike's not like, yeah, I didn't earn it. He's like, no, if they blocked me, I earned it probably. And if not, I will.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to block me, I might as well go out and earn it,
There you go. All right. Speaking of earning it, time to give a shout out to the sponsors.
Let's say hey to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you check them out for all your AR barrel needs. Rifle and pistol calibers available. Let's say hello to our good friends at the California Republican Assembly. Remember, it's crunch time. Make sure you visit them to find out who to vote for in California, as well as maybe perhaps make a little donation because they don't do it for free. And then, of course, our good friends over at uscombatgear.com. Go there and get all your tactical gear needs.
Folks, these are the folks who bring us to you in hopes that we'll bring you to them. So do us a favor, just follow links to their website. It's in the description of this program. Check them out. I promise you'll like what you see. Spend a little money with them. Make sure you tell them the guys over at The Rundown sent you. With that, we're going to call it a day, and we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's a fun day. It's going to be Taco Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to spending it with you as well. You guys take care. See you soon.